So this is an update on my master tank, my oldest vivarium. Um, Recently some changes. I used to have just like random plants in here that I got a long time ago at um, Home Depot, like some begonias and some dragon's tongue, Hemigraphis repandas, those whatever Latin name. But then all the moss and dirt, I talked about how this is like pretty much all wild collected or whatever. But then a couple months ago, I got on like this like biotope kind of kick that it seems like a lot of people are on. I also got sucked into that. So I pulled all those plants out of here and planted first one species, which is all this lily pad looking plant. That's a violet species called Walter's Violet, a native species. So I just went out and found some and stuck it in here. And this is a hat pin plant. That's another native species that you can just kind of find around. So I stuck both of those in here, but I stuck the hat pin plant in more recently. But the violet, I noticed I'm definitely getting new growth, but I was also experiencing a decent bit of dieback, and I've tried to grow this plant before, and I suspect it needs a little more ventilation. So put this door on. I used to just have like one big piece, so I put that little back piece on out of the hinge and out of the door, and then just kind of a quality of life, I've smeared Vaseline because I feed fruit flies to this colony, so I don't want like flies getting out. It's not a perfect fit, and so I just, to prevent that, there's a little Vaseline smeared on here. So that's what's been going on. I had to adapt. I'm monitoring like this whole plant died, but you can see it's got new growth. Every plant has new growth, new leaves forming. Like that's a new leaf right there. You could see though it was also yellowing, so I suspected it needed more ventilation. So I went ahead and added this lid with the 4 vents because it used to just be much more sealed, no vents at all really. So I'm hoping I will experience a positive response from the violets. And also, I'm not sure how well the hat pin plant is going to do. They need pretty wet conditions, as I recall. So we'll see if it definitely needs wet conditions or if it can get by on the conditions in this tank. So that's that. I'll give you guys a little footage of the ants in here. I just fed them some fruit flies, so let's see if you can see anything. This is definitely my favorite colony. They're a ton of fun. I've had them for so long now. In theory, there might be up to 6 queens in here. The species is not really known to be polygynous as far as I know, but I tried introducing a queen to this colony last year, and they accepted her right in, and there was no aggression whatsoever. Like if you introduce another worker, they'll attack it and kill it. But if you introduce a, freshly flown DL8 queen, it was pretty awesome. I think I have footage of it, but they took her right into the nest. I actually definitely have footage of it on my channel. But they took her right into the nest, and so I did that a bunch of times. I did that like 6 times. So I don't really know what the end result of that was, but I was at least hoping to refresh the genetics in here, and I've noticed a change. This colony is much more likely to sting their prey, whereas before this colony, which was collected in Perry, Florida, which is about an hour west of me, they're quite a timid species, and there's a very high population of Formica archbaldi near them, which is a natural predator of this species. So they're much, much more timid, much less likely to sting their prey. Whereas now I'm noticing about a year later, after introducing those other elates, I'm noticing that this colony now is becoming much more likely to sting. So I have the hypothesis that those are the workers of one of the new queens that I introduced, that I collected in Gainesville, Florida, who are much more aggressive. They are much more likely to sting their prey. So I think that is uh, a slight confirmation of my hypothesis. So I think that's pretty cool. So that's what's going on with my colony. They're super fun to watch. So you could see stinging the ant. They never used to sting the ants. That's crazy. That's so crazy to me. Like I said, I've had this colony for years now, and this is brand new behavior for me for this colony. So that's quite interesting. I love that. I love seeing that.